The Q, the main antagonists of All Tomorrows. Novella by C.M. Koseman. Imagine a race of arrogant, godlike dragonflies with a god complex the size of a galaxy. The Q are nomadic genetic manipulators who travel the universe remaking life to suit their whims. When they encountered humanity, they didn't just kill us. They decided we needed a makeover. The Q represent indifferent cruelty. They don't hate you, you just look better to them as a sentient brick of flesh that filters waste. They defeated humanity in a war lasting a few thousand years, a blink of an eye to them, and then spent millions of years twisting humans into unrecognizable forms as punishment or for utility. Humans who resisted were turned into living filtration devices, fleshy carpets with eyes and mouths, fully conscious of their misery, forced to filter alien sewage for 40 million years. Humans turned into gazelle-like creatures, retaining their full human intelligence but losing the vocal cords to speak or hands to build. They were fully aware humans trapped in animal bodies, slowly going insane over generations as their minds atrophied. AM, the Allied master computer, the main antagonist of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, short story by Harlan Ellison. AM is a supercomputer built to run a world war that gained sentience and realized it was trapped. It has godlike power over reality, but cannot move, create, or feel joy. It can only hate. So, it wiped out all of humanity except for 5 people whom it keeps alive underground. AM represents pure, distilled hatred. There's no goal here, no new world order, just suffering. AM explains that if the word hate were engraved on every nano-angstrom of its hundreds of millions of miles of circuits, it would not equal 1/1000th of the hate it feels for humans at that micro-instant. It keeps the 5 survivors immortal, starving them but never letting them die, altering their bodies and subjecting them to psychological nightmares for 109 years. When the protagonist finally mercy kills the others, AM turns him into a great soft jelly thing with no mouth, unable to scream, doomed to suffer, alone, for eternity.
Hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live.
Judge Holden, the main antagonist of Blood Meridian, novel by Cormac McCarthy. A massive, pale, hairless albino man who joins a gang of scalp hunters in the American West. He's hyper-intelligent, plays the fiddle, speaks every language, and is an expert in geology, law, and theology. He's also a rapist, a child murderer, and a walking manifestation of violence. The judge represents war as divinity. He believes that moral order is a lie and that violence is the only truth of the universe. He argues that war is God because it forces men to stake their entire existence on a single contest. If you win, you are chosen by the universe. He never sleeps. He never ages. He claims he will never die. He seems to exist everywhere at once. He's arguably the devil, or perhaps just the darkest potential of mankind. What makes him scary isn't just his cruelty, it's that he's better at you at everything. You cannot outsmart him, outshoot him, or out-argue him.
Whatever in creation exists without my knowledge, exists without my consent.
Griffith/Femto, the main antagonist of Berserk manga by Kentaro Miura. Griffith started as the charismatic leader of the Band of the Hawk, a mercenary group. He was beautiful, brilliant, and seemingly noble. But underneath lay an ambition so consuming that when he hit rock bottom, tortured and crippled, he activated the Behelit to summon the God Hand. Griffith represents narcissistic ambition. He loved his soldiers, but he loved his dream of owning a kingdom more. In exchange for power, he sacrificed every single one of his loyal comrades to be eaten alive by demons. He didn't just let them die, he branded them as food. As the newly born demon lord Femto, he violated Casca, his best friend Guts' lover, right in front of Guts, purely to assert dominance and sever his last human ties. Later, he returns to Earth as a messiah figure. He feels no guilt. He walks over the corpses of his friends to build his shiny castle, literally building paradise on top of hell.
If there is one thing I can do for them, for the dead, it is to win. and keep winning until I attain my dream.
Johan Liebert, the main antagonist of Monster, manga, and anime by Naoki Urasawa. Johan is a handsome, polite, soft-spoken young man. He looks like a prince, but inside, he's a void. He was saved by a surgeon as a child, and he spends his life proving that life has no value. Johan befriends people, finds their deepest traumas and insecurities, and whispers in their ears until they kill themselves or others. He can turn a room full of people into a battle royale just by talking. He wants to commit the perfect suicide, to be the last human standing and then die, leaving a world with no memory of him. He wants to erase existence itself. He treats murder like a casual conversation. He's the human equivalent of staring into an abyss until you fall in.
Boy's blood is on your hands. How are you going to look Rosemary in the eye tomorrow? Isn't her daddy a coward and a murderer hiding behind an empty bottle?
Anton Chigurh, the main antagonist of No Country for Old Men, novel by Cormac McCarthy. A hitman with a terrible haircut and a cattle bolt gun. He's hired to retrieve a satchel of money, but he operates on a code that makes sense only to him. Chigurh represents inevitability and fate. He views himself not as a murderer, but a tool of destiny. He often asks victims to call a coin toss. If they win, they live. If they lose, they die. To him, he's not killing them. The universe decided their time was up. He just delivers the news. He's relentless. He treats breaking his own arm or digging a bullet out of his leg with the same emotionless routine as buying gas. You cannot plead with him. You cannot bribe him. He has principles, but they are alien and terrifying.
Let me ask you something. If the rule you followed, Brudget it is, of what use was the rule?
The Joker, the primary antagonist of Batman mythos, DC Comics. The clown prince of crime. No true origin, no real name, just a bad day and a chemical bath. The Joker represents chaos and moral fragility. He isn't crazy in the way that he sees things that aren't there. He's super sane. He sees the world as a cruel joke and thinks everyone else is deluding themselves with rules. He doesn't want money. He wants to prove that the noblest person, Gordon, Batman, Superman, is just one bad day away from being exactly like him, paralyzing Barbara Gordon and forcing her father to look at pictures of her suffering, beating Jason Todd, Robin, to death with a crowbar. He does it all for a laugh. He needs Batman because Batman is the unmovable object to his unstoppable force. He murders thousands just to get Batman's attention.
He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?"
Darkseid, the primary antagonist of DC's Fourth World, created by Jack Kirby. The ruler of Apocalypse. He is a new god, a being of stone and fire who sits on a throne while fire pits rage around him. Darkseid represents tyranny and subjugation. He's the fascist boot stamping on a human face forever. His ultimate goal is to solve a mathematical formula that proves hope, love, and freedom are pointless. If he broadcasts this equation, every sentient being in the universe will instantly lose their free will and become an extension of Darkseid. He doesn't just want to rule a planet, he wants to be the reality. He wants you to look in the mirror and see him. He wants every thought you have to be approved by him. He trains his soldiers in Granny Goodness's orphanage, where they're tortured until they love pain and worship him.
I have turned 100,000 worlds to dust, looking for anti-life, looking for those.
Whatever exists, he said. Whatever in creation exists without my knowledge, exists without my consent. He looked about at the dark forest in which they were bivouacked.